What's happening all? It is Tuesday, September 7th. Kind of a big day. We'll get into the details as to why that is. Hopefully your 3-day weekend was awesome. You got some of that relaxation in, which I still have a hard time doing. I took the time yesterday to get some much needed data put together and some more content that needs to go out and help people with their real estate investing and getting their mindset right. So what we're looking at today, going back a little bit on last week, we had the BLS jobs report, and it talked about the disappointment of estimate of 750,000 jobs being created, but in reality it's 235,000 jobs. And what you're going to hear a lot of, the media is going to talk about that it was believed to be because of the Delta variant and it slowed down hiring and all that kind of stuff. Definitely not the case. Definitely not the case of what we've got going on here. So what we have now might change this around, right? So we had thousands, if not millions of jobs available, but nobody taking them. In fact, it was a 48-year record as far as people hiring or wanting to hire, let's put it that way, putting jobs out there. The compensation was at a 48-year high to attract people in, and it still wasn't working. Why? Because we had something that was referred to as the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program. We had the Pandemic Energy Unemployment Compensation Program. We had the Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation as well. Look at these 3 different programs, federal programs. Guess where they ended? Today. They're gone. Those programs are over, right? So 7.5 million Americans are going to lose that benefit. What does that mean? It's going to change some things as to what's going to go on with these jobs. So we will see where the rubber starts to meet the road now. Had a lot to do with the pandemic. That started all right. But because of our reaction to the pandemic, we now have the job issues that we have that actually was more hurt on the economy. There's less people working, and they're paying more money than what they should be for those particular roles just to get somebody to fill the role, right? Now we'll see how this all plays out. Are we going to have a rush for people to get jobs? Is it going to be more than one person applying for that particular role now where they don't have to pay as much for it? I don't know, right? I'm looking at as a business owner. If I've got multiple people applying for the exact same position, I'm not going to pay a premium for that position, right? I don't know how this is going to work out. There might be something that impacts our economy much different than what we think is going to happen here. So I'm curious to see how this all works out. We've got initial jobless claims coming out on Thursday this week. So we'll see how that all plays out. Friday is going to be the producer price index. That's going to tell us what's going on as far as wholesale inflation. More news to hit. Then next week, we're going to have some other things come out with respect to that inflationary data. So we're going to see how that affects the market. So be interesting to see how it all plays out. That's all I can say. I don't know how this is all going to work. But I believe it's going to have some sort of impact, and there's going to be some sort of price to be paid for everything we've been doing. So let's look at the markets right now and how things are being affected. So this morning when I left to go, I have breakfast with one of my kids first part of every week, different kid I rotate through. So I can keep close to them, talk about life and business and those kinds of things. We were in a strong position. The mortgage-backed securities were down as far as the 2.0 is concerned, right? The where we follow for the owner-occupied. But I'm looking at that 3.5 for the real estate investor. It's holding at a pretty good spot, comparatively speaking. And we're looking at the 4.0, which here's the 4.0. This morning when I left, it was down. It was way at the bottom where the bottom of this candlestick is. For some reason, let me see if I can get this to not point like that. I can't get around it. It's going to have that little icon. So it's clear down at the bottom of this. It was all red this morning, but now it's come back. It went as high as the trend lines, but then it's settled back into sitting right now. You can barely even see. Let's see if I can zoom in here. You can barely even see the line here on it. Yeah, you can barely see it right there. So this is where it sits right now, right above support. So we're in a pretty good spot on the 4.0 and the 3.5. So being the fact that we're in a good spot on both of those, looking at the rates this morning, they're in pretty good shape from where they were last week. So it's leading me to believe that I'll continue to follow the 3.5 and the 4, because what we had at the end of last week for interest rates that we were making that were available to us to offer real estate investors is very similar to what it is this week. There's not a lot of difference, very, very, very minimal difference from rate to rate, and class to class, meaning as far as, we're classifying it based upon loan size, classifying it based upon, credit score and other factors that influence the interest rate. Everything's very similar. So I'm going to continue to keep looking here. For now, everything looks good. I don't know how things are going to play out when it comes to the jobs, because jobs are going to have a major effect on what happens with the economy, right? The more people that have money to buy things, the more things continue to inflate. We're already in an extremely inflationary environment. I don't know how things are going to go. So we'll just keep giving you information as we have it. But thank you for subscribing. Thank you for going to the website, aaron.chapman.com, clicking on the donate button. Had a great event on Saturday. We had Tim Ballard here in town. I was able to MC that event with, we had the Pinal County Sheriff, Mark Lamb. He was there to talk about the human trafficking problem we had in Arizona, because it's a big, big freaking problem here, right? And then we were able to bring it back around full circle and do global conversation with Tim himself. I had a room with about 65 to 70 people. We were able to have direct conversation with not only the sheriff of one of the counties in their state, but also Tim Ballard himself. And he was very gracious to come and speak to those folks. We're going to do it again. And I'm going to give a lot more heads up. I didn't give any heads up on this one because I got the call on a Wednesday, say, hey, Tim's going to be there. Can you put something together? Well, something's happening in early December. And I'm going to get this out to everybody. You want to come to Arizona, come hang out with us, go to an event, get to more information about human trafficking. We're going to dump it all on you and dump everything we can. Thank you guys for always subscribing, always listening. Reach out to us if we need to talk a little bit more in detail about your business. We'll help you be to the best of our ability to find the success you're looking for.